and welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that takes you through Formula One's worst teams since 2010, all the way hopefully through to the present day. And we're still in 2010 as it stands, but with just 4 rounds left in Japan, Korea, Brazil and Abu Dhabi, we head to the legendary Japanese circuit of Suzuka for round 16 of the season. And we're coming off the back of quite a strange Singapore Grand Prix. We somehow took pole in our Virgin race in VR01, and by a decent margin, actually, and led to the pit stop phase, although a blunder at getting down to speed meant that we had a drive-through, served that, ended up finishing 10th, so taking a point at Singapore, which, considering the starting position, probably not the best result, but considering the car, a good result. But that wasn't the big story from Singapore, and wasn't the big story from the last couple of Grand Prix, actually. It's been a little up-down since Germany. We DNF'd at Hungary, but took points in Belgium, running in the points at Monza to end up finishing last because of silly errors on my part. And then, obviously, took pole in Singapore and took a point. But that means that in the grand scheme of things, we are 9th in the driver's standings, 22 points clear of Robert Kubica, so we might actually still hold on to the top 10 here, 5 points behind Michael Schumacher. But we're cut some distance off the top 7, that top 7 being led by Mark Webber. He's 46 points clear with 4 rounds left, one hand on the title already. The Red Bulls fighting over the top 2 spots. Fernando Alonso a little bit further back, just 10 clear of Lewis Hamilton, who's 4 clear of Massa, who's 20 clear of Button, and then Rosberg there in 7th on his own. Behind us in Kubica, Petrov, Sutil, Liuzzi, Alguersuari, Buemi, but that man there, P16, Heikki Kovalainen, 1 point, I think it was, in Monza, and 4 points in Singapore. If we'd had a real-life season for Virgin Racing and Heikki had scored those points, we'd be doomed going into the last 4, I think. Fortunately, we've had a much better season than that. He's ahead of Nico Hulkenberg, Rubens Barrichello, Kamui Kobayashi and Pedro Della Rosa. Karun Chandhok, Bruno Senna, Jarno Trulli, Lucas Di Grassi with no points on the board, but still big props to Karun Chandhok and now Bruno Senna for actually being ahead of 1 Virgin and 1 Lotus, respectively. While in the Constructors, Red Bull have practically won the Constructors' title. It's the battle for second now, Ferrari 30 points clear of McLaren. Mercedes are on their own in 4th, but the result in Singapore did mean that we slipped behind Renault, and 7 points back from the French manufacturer, and 11 clear of Force India, who are trying to close up. Toro Rosso a little bit further back there, a Lotus in 9th. They've jumped Williams and Sauber with HRT at 0 points at the bottom of the standings. So it's been a pretty decent season thus far, and we head to Suzuka, the 16th round of this season, one of the all-time classics and heralded as such by the fans, regardless of how you can get processional Grand Prix here. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes you do, and sometimes you get the, well, chaotic, shall we say. Obviously the moments in 89-90 spring immediately to mind with Suzuka, but there are plenty more moments across the history of this wonderful circuit that, you know, immediately stand out in the memory. Certain drives, certain performances. Hopefully we're going to have one of those, but this game has a way of biting you when you feel like you're doing okay. So let's get into practice, get our way round Suzuka in the 2010 game, and while we do that, let's have a little talk about what happened in the real world. 2010 Japanese Grand Prix. The 2010 Japanese Grand Prix started the run into the end of the season with Mark Webber leading the championship by 11 points from Ferrari's Fernando Alonso, who was ahead of Hamilton, the other Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel and Jenson Button. There was only one driver change for this race, and that was the return of Sakon Yamamoto at HRT, replacing Christian Klein, so Sakon could partake in his home Grand Prix.
You're showing good pace. Keep it up.
The first 2 practice sessions were held in dry conditions, with Vettel leading the way in both. ahead of teammate and championship rival Mark Webber, with Renault's Robert Kubica showing some great pace in third. Lewis Hamilton lost a lot of running though after crashing at the first practice session, losing the car through Degner and tearing the front left wheel off of it. It was the morning of the third session that the almost inevitable wet weather arrived at Suzuka then, meaning only Jaime Alguersuari and Timo Glock set lap times while the other drivers left the pits for an exploratory lap only, and the rain continued to worsen as the day progressed. Qualifying though was delayed 3 times before it was ultimately postponed until the Sunday morning. Qualifying saw the usual suspects eliminated in the first session, with Lotus once again leading the way of the new teams, while Lucas de Grassi out-qualified Glock for only the second time during the season. They were joined by Buemi, who had an issue with his floor, meaning that he couldn't set a representative lap time in the Toro Rosso. But the almost inevitable big surprise in the second qualifying session was Felipe Massa. He could only manage 12th after being impeded on his lap, though nothing was brought against the cars that had impeded him. It was, however, an all-Red Bull front row, with Vettel leading Webber, Hamilton recovering from his tumultuous practice sessions to take third place, although he would lose 5 places post-qualifying due to a gearbox change. All 24 drivers began the formation lap, but only 23 returned to the grid. Lucas de Grassi crashed at 1:30 after clipping a curb on the approach. Perhaps a slightly damp bit of curbing was still knocking around the track at that point, and as he clipped the curb, he totaled the car on impact with the bearing on the inside of 130R. As the lights went out, there was some fan footage that showed Vettel nearly jumping the start, but he managed to time that jump just right and led into turn 1, while Webber lost a spot to Robert Kubica behind. There were incidents further down the order though. Petrov clipped Hulkenberg and speared into the barrier, while Massa tried to avoid a slow start in Rosberg. Massa clipped the grass and then crashed into Vitantonio Liuzzi's Force India. Both of the incidents, and with cars kind of scattered all around Suzuka, the safety car was deployed. A few cars lower down the order boxed during this safety car, with Kubica being the only lead car to do so, which was probably a bad move for Renault. His right rear wheel detached going into the hairpin because of an insufficient torque on the wheel nut, leading him to retire from the race. Safety car returned to the pits at the end of lap 6 though, with Vettel leading Webber. Once the Red Bulls pitted around half race distance, McLaren attempted an alternate strategy with Jenson Button, leaving him out on track, which prompted the Red Bull pit wall to suggest that McLaren may have been attempting to run Button until the start of the final lap to slow them up, but Button could not set the lap times necessary to make that strategy work. It was Sebastian Vettel that took the victory, less than a second ahead of his teammate Webber, with Alonso following behind in third. The McLarens of Hamilton and Button completed the top 5, meaning that all 5 of the main championship protagonists all kept pace with one another. Schumacher took 6th for his best result since Turkey, while Japanese driver Kamui Kobayashi took 7th and points on home soil, while Heidfeld, Barrichello and the recovering Sebastian Buemi took the final points-paying positions. What can we do at this fast-flowing, legendary Suzuka circuit? Well, it's not really a track I'm very strong at, so it's likely to be one of the more disappointing qualifying sessions of the year. I seem to just lack confidence everywhere. I think there are so many curbs here that you can spin on. There are so many places you can get on the throttle too early. And there are a couple of places like the hairpins you're seeing, where the barriers are close enough to cop a large amount of damage if you get it wrong. With all that in mind, I think we're only really battling Lotus and HRT. And I want to try and at least beat those teams. So it's going to be quite the low bar here. And it's going to be 19th place we're looking for. With the sole aim, really, of just trying to beat Lotus and HRT. Here we are then, the garage in Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix qualifying. Practice has been slow for the most part, but I've said it a few times this season that we've had terrible practice sessions and we've actually gone quite well in quali. I'm kind of hoping that's going to be one of those times here. But me and Suzuka don't have the best relationship in terms of me enjoying my driving around here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let's go and look at the fastest lap in this session and see if we can get out of the drop zone. It was first time for our fastest lap in Q1, and as you'll see, it wasn't really good enough to make it much further, but fairly neat and tidy through turn 1, maybe a little too deep in mid-corner. And then coming into these S's again, taking a little bit of grass. That's seemingly what you have to do here, regardless of what year F1 game it is. Take a little bit of grass as you go. A little wide at the final couple of S's, but managing to keep it well away from the gravel, heading down towards the Degners. Take as much curb as you can on entrance, same with exit, and then a little wide going into Degner 2, but not so wide that you clip any gravel on the outside into the hairpin. Maybe a touch too early on the brakes, or at least that's what I thought before I went spearing almost straight into the grass, having to readjust leaving the hairpin. And then it's just a straight drive down towards Spoon, a corner that, as you'll see as the race progresses, was not my friend over the weekend. Seems to be a few bumps here that this game has, running very wide through the second part of Spoon, never really able to get on the power, which compromises you all the way up through 130R. Heading up now to that corner, you should be able to take this flat even back in 2010. But if you do run a little bit wide. Track limit's not such a problem as we head into the Casio chicane. Again, deep into the first part, and then compromised through the exit. It was an alright lap, but it was never going to be fast enough to get us through.
You're in pole position at the moment. Let's hope you stay there. Bad luck, mate. You missed out on Q2 by 2 places. We're in 19th place.
Well, that is the end of our Japanese qualifying, and it falls in Q1 by 0.4 of a second from Kobayashi. Senna out-qualifies us. But we're down the back there with Trulli, Kovalainen, Alguersuari, Di Grassi and Buemi. The Toro Rosso's not having a good time either, just could not get the lap together. Traffic, just a lack of confidence on the throttle at any point. So I think for the first time in a long time we're out in Q1. I don't think we're going to be advancing massively through the field. But let's cross over to the race and see if maybe we can do better in race trim. Welcome on into the garage then for the Japanese Grand Prix, 27 laps of Suzuka, and we're starting way down in P19. There's an 11% chance of rain, which will probably mean we won't get it during this race. But let's take a little look at the grid and then we'll have a little talk about what we're hoping for. Vettel took pole ahead of Webber, Hamilton, Kubica, Button, Massa, Petrov, Rosberg, Schumacher, Barrichello, your top 10. Petrov being up there, Kubica as well. They could always close the gap. Alonso down in 11th. Kobayashi, Hulkenberg, De La Rosa, Liuzzi, Chandok made 16th in the HRT ahead of Sutil, and then Senna, myself, Trulli, Kovalainen, Alguersuari, Di Grassi and Buemi. reigned in 80-24. I have no confidence during qualifying. We still beat the team's objective. They wanted us to finish in 20th. But yeah, I didn't think we'd get out of Q1 going into it. I don't know what it is about this place. I feel like I'm constantly waiting to get on the throttle. I'm constantly worried that we'll just spin the wheels and spin the car, so I don't push maybe as hard as I could, which does lead us to just being really slow. And we're going to start on the primes as well, which tend to be pretty bad tyres, really. So this is probably going to be quite a long one. It's our worst qualifying position of the season, worse than Spain, where we got black flagged. I think the only objective we can really aim for here is to try and hit the team objective of 18th place. I think if we can grab a couple of spots off the start and hold some people up and try not to make mistakes, which is what I've said every round this year and failed to do, then maybe, just maybe, we might be able to redeem ourselves at least a little bit with a sort of low teens position. But 18th is the objective for both us and for the team. Let's head to the grid in Suzuka then for the 2010 Japanese Grand Prix. So the Red Bull's on pole. Vettel needs to get a good result here over Webber. Rosberg in 8th, we're 19th. Degrassi 23rd, he's not last.
The boss wants another points finish out of you this weekend. Give it your best shot.
The boss might be asking maybe a touch too much from here. There's our teams around us on the softs, on the option tyres. Senna there being one of them. Trulli as well, he will absolutely catapult off the line there. It does tend to be the case off the line, we lose spots. All a little bit cautious into the first corner. As you can see, we're already at a disadvantage.
Go for the overtake. Go for the overtake.
Engineer Rob being really optimistic there. As Alguersuari gets away from us. They're slow into the Degnas. As everybody concertinas up, we can at least close a little bit. We're also all slow into the hairpin, so let's try and make at least one move, and we do. We're past Alguersuari.
Moved up to 20th place.
One down from where we started on the grid. Trulli just ahead. Sutil's actually fallen behind Senna there, I think.
Webber's out in front.
Webber leads. There'll be 50 points. No, 75 points. Sorry, after this race with Korea, Brazil and Abu Dhabi to go. 46 clear coming into this one, so he's almost there. Mark Webber in terms of drivers' champion. Through 130R, but again, slow through the Casio chicane. Can sort of hang on to Trulli at least a little bit. Also should be faster than me behind, but he's struggling as I just get turn one all wrong, but survive.
Tyres and brakes are in the optimal temperature
Through the
zones.
first Degna. Alguersuari has a look through the second. I thought I saw. I think it was just the
Vettel's out in
cording
front.
on the outside of the circuit. I thought it was Degrassi as Vettel takes the lead. Alguersuari does us at the hairpin. Break myself into spoon trying to regain the position. I'm on the alternate strategy here, but I don't think that's going to save me anyway. Lost Trulli, who himself is losing the Sutil-Senna battle up ahead of him. Oh, that's a dive. It scares Alguersuari then. squeezes us on exit, so I would say we'll regain 20th, but we do. Al-Gashwari slots in behind. This is realistically where this car should be. Performing it over the course of the season. Looks like Senna's now holding Sutil up and Trulli's catching up to them. Maybe I can latch onto the back of that train. Everybody else is gone. Spoon is a bit of a black spot for me on this circuit. To defend from the Toro Rosso. Robust, but we do it. Looks like there's a move being made up ahead between Sutil and Senna. Sutil, I think, has got through there. Or has he? No, it looks like they're still going side by side. And that could end in tears. Like Sutil's still behind. It looks like there's a flash of white between those three cars in the middle. Could be the Force India livery. It is the Force India livery as we lock up into Casio. Getting overexcited because I can really close on them through 130R and Casio. Just everywhere else in the lap I'm losing time.
We've had a look and we think Adisswanto is due to pit within the next 5 laps.
Oh, as I run wide through Dagna.
He is due to stop sometime in the next few laps.
I'm down to 23rd. I was literally about to say I'm loath to say I'm in a rhythm because we know what happens when I do, and that's what I did. Dipped the wheel in the gravel and that was it. So I'm back behind another set of 3 cars, this time both Toro Rossos and the Lotus of Kovalainen. Well, we're going to get lapped this one.
We can take this guy. Come on, come on.
Cars coming in now. Trulli in first, so we're a half lap away from being able to jump Jarno Trulli. There's a Force India up there. I'd assume that's Liuzzi who's probably been in. That's compounded our misery. Degrassi's gone past us now. We're going to have to spin flick our way back in.
We're 5 places below our predicted finishing position. Shifted up a gear.
Degrassi's in. At least get past our teammate. We've got to 21st. Somebody's out. I think it's Robert Kubitzer. Kubitz is out of this one. He just appeared briefly on our leaderboard there. minute behind the leaders, which means that they are closer to lapping us than we are to getting past them. We're up to 18th all of a sudden. Webber's out. I think Webber's out of this race. I haven't overtaken him in the pits. There's Sebastian Buemi, who's just exiting. But I think Webber's out of this one. Because he's listed as 21st. He's behind Degrassi, and we are P18.
Ferrari are readying for a pit stop. One of their drivers is coming in.
I don't think we're going full distance here. Definitely believe we'll get lapped by the leaders as I run wide at turn 1. That'll probably let Trulli in, or will it? It won't. Nearly did, but I think I kind of chopped across him a bit there. Certainly interesting to note just how many of the circuits I still struggle at pace-wise today. Silverstone, Barcelona, Suzuka. It doesn't really change in the old games. Monaco, I think, was the only one maybe that's a bit of a difference. I can't qualify with any pace in Monaco. In modern F1, but did okay in 2010. It'll be interesting to see if we have any improvements at places like this as the seasons progress, or whether I just suck at driving them, I guess. There. There as well, Trulli. He's going to take a look, but he's not going to go there. He's going to fall down to 20th, which is last in this race. Anyway. Oh, and we get too early on the power in the hairpin.
Stay with him, stay with him. He might make a mistake and we can regain the place.
Like a few times this season, the next round sees us go to a new old track, new in terms of new to this calendar. Back in 2010, old in the fact that, well, it's 15 years ago.
Trulli should be due a tyre change within the next 3 laps.
It sounds like the AI might be double boxing, double stopping, 2 stopping. Words. If that's the case, then maybe we've got an outside sniff. We're still 18th though, so somebody else has dropped out of this one. Fine by me. If we keep making up positions because people are dropping out of the race, then fine, I'll take it. We're up to 7. What?
That's pretty good. We're a place above where we expected to be.
Somebody else has dropped out of this one. Not getting any notifications to retirements. The total number of cars doesn't go down. We don't get told. Degrassi now all of a sudden has completely dropped off the back of us. Although he might have just been lapped by Petrov. Schumacher's leading actually. No, he hasn't been lapped. What is going on in this race?
Schumacher is the race leader.
Petrov's come in. Surely that means one of the HRTs is scoring points here. Regardless, we're going to hit objective just by finishing the race, so just got to try and keep it pointing in the right direction and finish. At the moment, Schumacher is probably on his way to being unassailable to us as he laps Degrassi behind us.
perceives someone in the Lotus garage. Looks like Trulli will be stopping within the next few laps.
Second time I've been told that Trulli's stopping. It was Della Rosa in front of us. Maybe he was the one that went out.
Pit in this lap. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Box in at the end of this one. Rid of the primes, bolt on the options.
Remember the limiter line, the limiter line.
Speed in this
Brake
time.
for the pit box.
I'm going to take a punt and say that we're going to go a lap down and that Degrassi may also overtake us here.
Go!
Degrassi will overtake us, I think, but he's also being lapped.
Limiter off.
There's
Limiter
Degrassi.
off.
Petrov's in third still. Quick check to see if anybody was immediately behind him. Let's try and use Petrov lapping Degrassi to my advantage. We did at Silverstone, I think. Faster tyres on this car as Petrov gets caught behind Degrassi. We're going to go up the inside of the Degnas.
Keep it clean if you attempt to pass him.
We both go off.
You need to let the car behind you past. He's not racing you for position.
Hulkenberg's in fifth. Schumacher there sixth. I'm the one getting lapped. That's a Ferrari, that's Alonso? It is. These guys have all now got a lap Degrassi. It was a bold manoeuvre at the Degnas, I will concede. Slow through Spoon was Alonso.
There's a group of slower cars just ahead of you. Be aware.
A little bit less of this race to do then. So that's slow into Casio. There's Degrassi. We'll go right round the outside of him. I think he's slowing down for Alonso. It's an easy enough overtake for us. That's all the overtakes we're going to do. I get out of Alonso's way. No blue flags for some reason. I think it's confused because I'd already let him go. Now I'm going to have Degrassi on me. Degrassi now being caught by faster traffic is slowing up.
For a shorter next stint. Lotus have fitted the option tyres to his car.
We're off at Spoon as Trulli goes in. I have no idea why I went straight on there. Kamui, I think it is.
Blue flag conditions. Let the car immediately behind through. You're not racing him.
Come on, Kamui. She goes through, and immediately we're on the back of him because just slow through 130R in Casio. Going to have Degrassi for company again. Although Degrassi's now in, I think. He's second stop, yeah he is.
Lucas is pitting now. He's in the pits.
Wide Spoon again. I am opening the steering there. So we move on to our final lap of this race. We are obviously a lap down to the leaders. Looks like Vettel's going to take a big chunk out of his teammates' championship lead at the front. We are still going to somehow, as long as we don't crash out now, we're still somehow going to beat both ours and the team's objective, just purely thanks to the fact that everybody else seems to have forgotten how to drive. Ironic, seeing as I just drove off the circuit, but there are 6 retirements at least from this one. Includes Rosberg, includes Webber, I think Della Rosa as well. There's an outside chance that 9th or 10th spot could be taken up by one of the HRTs. We'll see in a moment. But we've been fairly comfortably on our own since getting back ahead of Degrassi post pit stop. He pitted and then has been kind of getting out of everybody else's way. Vettel crosses the line to take the win in Japan. We've made some mistakes here. They're still not quite out of the driving, and I don't think they're going to be before the end of this season. Unique byproduct of how this game handles. It'll be interesting to see if it moves through into 2011 or whether a different driving physics model will help. But we'll see as we head towards the Casio chicane for the final time. P17 may not look like much, but it is an improvement from where we started. Japan is done.
Good race, well done. I'll see you back at the garage.
So let's start with the people who are out. Della Rosa, Button, Webber, Rosberg, Barrichello and Kubica. So really great for our little kind of clutch of drivers in the championship, which we'll see in just a moment. We finished just ahead of Lucas Di Grassi, way behind Jarno Trulli. Sutil, Kovalainen, Buemi, Liuzzi, Alguersuari. That means that both Senna and Chandok score points for HRT. They are now just 2 points behind Lotus, and I think they might have even jumped. Oh no, they wouldn't have jumped Sauber. Oh, they might be up with Williams, and we'll see in just a moment. Kobayashi, Alonso, Massa, Schumacher, Hulkenberg gets 4th place. Then it's Vettel, Petrov and Hamilton, your top 3. And Petrov only 1.8 seconds behind Vettel at the end, so he could have really helped Webber out and inflicted some more championship damage on Vettel. But what does that do for the championship? We remain 9th. Petrov jumps his teammate and is now just 8 points behind us. We are 15 behind Michael Schumacher. At the top, though, the lead is cut to 21 points with 3 rounds to go. Alonso 1 point ahead of Hamilton, with Massa a little bit further behind. Button didn't score, nor did Rosberg, so they remain where they are. As I said, Petrov has jumped Robert Kubica. Sutil, Liuzzi, Hulkenberg moves up to 14th. Alguersuari, Buemi, Kobayashi. Kovalainen drops to 18th. Chandok, though, jumps Barrichello. And Senna jumps Della Rosa, meaning that Trulli and Di Grassi are the only 2 drivers yet to score with 3 rounds left of the season. So if either of them can pick up points in Korea, Brazil or Abu Dhabi, then everybody will score. But Di Grassi's not really looked like scoring points at all this season. In the Constructors, we're jumped by Renault. No, we remain ahead of Renault. In the Constructors, we remain behind Renault. There you go. Red Bull they've ramped up the Constructors at this point. There is no way that Ferrari can catch them. So well done to Red Bull for 2010 Constructors champions. McLaren a little bit further behind Mercedes. Safe in 4th. Renault could be safe in 5th. They are 25 clear. We'd need a race win and Renault not to score in the final 3 to draw level. Force India didn't score, so they remain 11 behind us. Toro Rosso stay ahead of Williams and Sauber. Lotus now, though, jumped by Sauber, well behind Williams and just 2 ahead of HRT. Great result for the Spanish outfit. 9th and 10th in the race. Well, that was Japan. It was not the most exciting race of all. Made a couple of silly mistakes, I think, that have really kind of kind of cost us a few places, but I don't think it cost us too much. We just don't have the pace here. And as I said during the race, it'll be interesting to see if that carries all the way through, because it's a circuit that, much like Silverstone and Catalunya, I'm still not particularly great at, even to this day. So it might be just how the AI are here. But we'll see. Next up, though, the debut in the F1 World Championship in 2010 for Korea. The return to Korea for us. We haven't been here since it dropped off the calendar back in, 2012, 2013? So I'm going to have to relearn that circuit. And the places that we've had to relearn this season, the likes of Valencia and Hockenheim, haven't actually gone too badly. Will Korea follow the same trajectory? Come and join me with that one to find out. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves wherever you are. Have a great day. And I'll see you on the next one.